Previously
Thanks
on
for
the
watching,
Naked Confessions
and
podcast.
stay tuned for part 2. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
As you go through this process, you're going to have don't beat yourself up. Be like, I'm a believer of Jesus Christ. I love the Lord. He heard my cry, and I'm angry. I love the Lord and everything in him, but I'm disappointed. Mm-hmm. So, and you feel like, then you feel like you want to backslide. No, because I ain't gonna lie, I got kind of savage. And I'm back. I was gonna say, I forgot. I don't forgot who child I was there for a moment, because I'm doing that.
Hello, and welcome to the Naked Confessions podcast, where we discuss real life issues. I am your host, Dr. BB. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our guest today. On today's episode, we have the one and only Mrs. Jocelyn Jones, also known as the Knowledge Giver. Ms. Jones is the owner and proprietor of Kappa Learning Group. She also has taught and managed serve on management in nonprofit and for-profit childcare settings and organizations for over 20 years. Jocelyn is a family childcare provider in Norcross, Georgia, and she's also very active in the early childhood education professional field. Early childhood education is, as well as sociology, are two disciplines Jocelyn loves and has contributed to her career accomplishments. Jocelyn is an active member of Kappa Delta Phi National Honor Society in Education and a member of the Public Policy Committee for Kappa Delta Phi. Alongside Ms. Jones, or also I passionately call her Jocelyn, has presented for national and international audiences for massive and long-running organizations such as, and it's a long list, High Scope, National Council for Professional Recognition, National Black Child Development Institute, also known as NBCDI, First Things First, Georgia Head Start, U.S. Nanny Institute, Rainbow Institute of Childhood Education, the Learning Project Network, and other media outlets. Thank you, Jocelyn, for joining us today and being a guest. Before we dive into today's topic, is there anything else that I did not mention about you that you would like to share with the listeners?
Well, I think we've covered everything, but I just love early childhood. That's just about it. And that's it. But the list goes on, but we ain't gonna keep going.
We might be here all day.
Yeah.
Well, without further ado, today's topic is how to navigate when the unexpected happens. Now, if you don't know, this is part 2 to part 1. This is a 2-part series. And if you have not gotten the chance, check out part 2 where we had Pastor Regina Nunley on that episode, and she delved into some real juicy information, and it was spiritual filled. But let's get on with the topic at its hand. And I always like to go in a little deep. So if you got your tissue, go get it now.
Yeah.
Because I think we about to be on a whirlwind.
Okay, yeah.
There's a quote that says, the most important turning points of life often come at the most unexpected times and in the most unexpected ways. Author unknown. The goal of today's discussion is to provide real-life truths, encouragement, and insight on how to endure and overcome when faced with unexpected life events. Again, Jocelyn, thank you for joining us to discuss the topic I'm sure impacts everyone at one point in time. Without further ado, let's get to the first question of the day.
All right.
And this is going to draw from personal experiences when the unexpected happens. So the first question is, can you share a specific moment in your life when something completely unexpected happened and how you initially reacted?
Man, I think everybody can attest to some, that's at some point. So I got plenty of those.
Hmm.
But I think just the recent one is the passing of my sister.
Hmm.
So that was definitely unexpected. Um, it's still the whole process of it. I'm trying to, just filter through it, get through the day, every day, trying to get through everyday situations, tasks. Is that was unexpected.
Hmm.
I think just the shock of her and the way she went out and knowing that she's not here anymore, that is something that was just it's just still unbelievable to me. And it was so unexpected,
Hmm.
because she wasn't really sick, to my knowledge. She had some, health issues, but my sister was always on the go,
Hmm.
so her her being sick and passing was just for everybody. I think in my family, even for my friends, it was just a shock for all of us.
Hmm.
And so you talk about unexpected, that was unexpected. And so it happened last year in May, the beginning of May. And so it was May 5th that May 6th that that went into cardiac arrest at home. She
Mm.
was sitting at the computer doing some work, and um, my mom was in her room, the kids, just around about in the house, and my mom was in the room and she heard a big thud that hit the
Hmm.
floor. And she was like, go in there. And my other niece was in the room with my mom. And she was like, go in there and see what's going on. And my niece saw, well, both of my nieces, which was her daughters, which was at that time 15 and 3. And they saw my sister on the floor.
Mm.
And so my nephew heard it and he ran in and they called 911. And my nephew administered CPR. And
Mm.
then my other niece, she was in there. She was in her room, the oldest. And they were trying to resuscitate her. And then the ambulance came, the paramedics, and tried to, you know, continue to resuscitate her. But she was down now for too long. So
Hmm.
they took her to North Hospital in Gwinnett. And so, um, she was in, of course, in critical condition. And and then and of course I was on the phone. My mom called me, while they were resuscitating her. So they took her on. They finally, you know, tried to get her to breathe and everything. And so I went up to the hospital, and then my brother came shortly afterwards. And she, like I said, she was in critical condition. And so, um, we finally went into our room, and of course, it's, your mind is going
Hmm.
in all kind of places. You don't know what to expect to see, and so she's hooked up to all these cords. They got something for her to breathe, and we just standing there, just kind of like hopeless. Like, wow, what is
Hmm.
really going on? And so the price came that she was down there too long. She was down like 15, 20 minutes.
Mm.
So they declared her to be brain dead.
Mm.
And so, me and my brother was just, we was hopeful. Of course, we was in prayer. Everybody was in prayer, and we was hoping, of course you hope for the best, like,
Right.
oh, she can recover, blah, 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 blah. Um, so they, of course, they eventually start running tests to see, if there were any brain activities and things of that sort. And my brother and I was at the hospital, like for the first week, and my mom, she was just, basically when she went down. When my
Mm-hmm.
sister fell and went down, my mother said she saw like the life come out
Leave
of her,
her.
like yeah.
Mm.
hmm And so she was just like, I don't think. I said, she's like, I think she gone. I think she gone. And so, just going back to the part that me and my mother was in the hospital, my mother, she couldn't do it. She couldn't go up there,
Mm-hmm.
because it was so much trauma,
Mm-hmm.
behind what she saw. And so, me and my brother was kind of like, just uh, her watchman,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure she's okay. And eventually, you know, these jobs are so new now. Like sometimes, on these jobs, you can get FMLA, of
Mm-hmm.
course, but sometimes FMLA does not cover your siblings. And
Right.
so my brother, on his job, they didn't cover the siblings.
Mm.
So he was there only for a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you know, I'm a business owner, so I have more flexibility. I can be there night and day. So, of course, as my sister, I was there night and day.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, her watchman, and I was up there, you know, and just seeing my sister in that condition was so traumatic. It was, I don't even know how I went through it. I don't know.
It was
All I can
God.
say was that's all.
Mm-hmm.
That's by the grace of God, that He kept my mind, and just, and then I had this spirit of hope that she
Mm-hmm.
would, recover. This is my will, what I'm saying? But
Right.
um, so, it was my will that, she'll recover, she's gonna be okay, da 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 da, but at the end of it, it was between her and God, you
Mm.
know. And, of course, God got the final say so.
Yes, he
Whatever
does.
whatever him or her had going on, it was what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so, they declared her brain dead. And so we decided as a family that, we won't let her go because we
Mm-hmm.
did not want her to have a quality of life that was not livable.
Right.
And if she wasn't, recover, she would have been, of course, a vegetable. And we was
Mm-hmm.
like, that's not something that we want anybody to go through, to suffer through. And so, my nephew, he at that time was 19, and he was next to kin. So you
Mm-hmm.
imagine, what he had to go through when
Mm.
he had to decide that, I
His
don't want my mom
mom.
to suffer. Yeah, and he had to sign the do not resuscitate the form. So he signed it. My brother was there with him the whole time. He had support, but at 19, who wants to sign, you know, to
Mm-mm.
sign that, for their mother? But it was a lot. It was a heavy situation. My sister has 4 kids. The oldest, now he's 20, 18, 16, and she started all over again. So we got a little 4 year. Girl, I told her when she was pregnant with her, I said, girl, we trying to be at the house and traveling. What is you doing? We gonna start all over again. So she's something, but she's a joy to all of us, and it helps us to, with her being there, it helps us to cope
Mm-hmm.
with the situation because she's just like my sister.
That's her look. That's y'all angel.
It is, it is. And
But
so,
it's amazing how you go through things like that, and it's like what's this thing? It's like bittersweet.
yeah,
It's sad that you lost your sister, but
yeah,
then when you look at this baby's face,
yes,
and she
yes,
looked just like your sister, 'cause I've seen her, and it's like, okay, God,
yep,
you knew what you was doing. That's why he said, I know the plans I have for you. He
right,
knew
right.
everything was going to transpire
Oh, yeah,
way before it transpired. That's
yeah,
why he said, I got to leave this family with one that looked just like the one that left.
and right,
And
exactly. I got
then
to.
and then probably the temperament and attitude like a too.
It is. the split image and the attitude. Okay, she driving my mama up a wall, but but she is our joy, you know. So it's a blessing, you know. God, like I said, God knows, you know,
Mm-hmm.
what we don't know. You know what I'm saying? He knows the mysteries, and he understands that when you're going through grief, it has to be something that you know we can lean on to bring joy. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and I'm glad that God know our heart. He understands what we go through, and he understands the infirmities of his people, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
so he just stepped right on in and gave us Imaja. It's something else. But you know, it's just a joy that he blessed us with my niece, and that we could laugh and talk about my sister, and you know, laugh at Imaj and everything like that. But it was, it's grief is something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's still going through the process. It's still very fresh to us. And even in between those times when I was my sister's watchman, you know, I still had things that I could laugh about with her. For example, my sister was a firecracker, baby. She would cuss you out. She loved the Lord, but she would cuss. She would cuss you out in a minute. So some of the nurses was she was getting her bath and everything, and so some of the nurses was kind of pulling on her a little bit, you know, because my sister was a big girl too, so they
Mm-hmm.
they were kind of pull on her to kind of move her over. Baby,
uh-huh.
she looked at that nurse and had that frown on her face. Was
She was
like,
still there.
oh, she was there. She was there. I
Mm-hmm.
said, girl, she probably faking some fake laughter because she was out. You pulled me like that again. So me and her just had a laugh and everything. So some things, you know, you could just find the joy in, even though you're going through your trials and tribulations,
Mm-hmm.
you can still have joy, even in death, even in grief.
And
So,
you have to
yeah,
keep
you do.
a, I mean, it's sad when you go through those times. I mean, because I can attest, I have mine back to back.
Yeah,
But you know, I lost my mother in 2023, and
yes,
then 20 last year I lost a brother in July on my sister's birthday.
yeah,
Then 2-3 months later, I lost my last living aunt on my dad's side, and then 9 months after that, I lost my brother just this year in March.
yeah,
So, you know, I've been reflecting on, you know, just recently because his birthday is coming up next month, and
right.
I'm like, wow, this time last year, Steve was here. I
Mm-hmm.
could get on the
Yep,
phone and say, "Hey, bro, just calling to check up on you. How's
yep,
everything going?" And
yep.
now he's not here.
Mm-hmm.
But fast forward when you say the unexpected. Now I can share with people. I didn't share before, even with the last recording, with my last guest. But now I feel free that I can share it.
Right,
I you and I have spoken off camera and off script
right.
about some of my health challenges. And when I say
Yes.
when how you cope when the unexpected hits. And excuse me if I start crying. These are tears of joy, not sorrow. But just, a few months ago, well, let's go back. I had a what they call T strokes back in 2003, shortly after burying my mom.
Yeah.
And they kept trying to figure out what was going on with me. So I had a neurologist, and I had MRIs, I had CAT scans, you name it, I had it.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, they were this was back in June. They was like, "Well, Miss Banks, um, we found this spotted thing in your head, and we can't decipher what it is. And but right now, it looks like we're gonna have to go in and cut it out." And I'm like, "Oh no, no," because I'm like, now my hair needs doing, but you talking about shaving all my hair off to cut the I mean, like literally cut my skull and open up to go in my brain, and it was like right between my eye, my left eye up in this area,
Wow.
and I'm like, they was like that's, and we see a pressure. It's a growth about this, and they showed us about that big, and we
Mm-hmm.
can't get to it. So we're gonna have to we can't give you medicine and we can't do radiation. So we're gonna have to literally go in and cut it. And I'm like, and my oldest son was with me. He was like, we need more tests. Because I'm like, this is a side of your brain, and I'm like, is that the part dealing with the analyticals, the memory, and all of that? And I'm like, yes. And he was like, after we do it, you can have partial paralysis on your left side. And I'm like, God, you done got me to a level right now. I ain't got time to be handicapped, crippled, sick, down. I ain't got time for that.
Okay.
And so he said we were going to run another CAT scan, which he did last month. And yesterday morning, I was getting ready to go to a meeting, and he called me. He said, "Hi, Miss Banks," and I was like, "Okay, this got to be good news," because every morning I say, "Lord, let me receive some good news, whether it be by email, text message, telephone call, United States Postal Service. Let it be some good news."
Right. I know that.
And he called me because I was supposed to go in the office, and I'm like, "Why I need to spend gas for you just to tell me what's up?"
Yeah.
So he called. They rescheduled it where it would be a telephone consult call. I was like, good. So he called me. He said, "Yes, Miss Banks, you doing good?" I said, "Yeah, I'll do even better once you tell me the news."
And good news. Okay.
Yes. And he said, "Well, good news that you don't have to have surgery." I was like, "Okay." He said, "That sound good to you?" I said, "Yes."
Okay.
I'm like, because for one, I don't have to take off. Two, because I was trying to get disability insurance, and he was like, "Well, it'll take 3 weeks off of work, but then you take you about 3 or 4 months to recruit." And I'm like, "That ain't no guarantee."
Right.
You hit that thing the wrong way,
That
and
part.
in the climate we living in, I can't be
Okay.
disabled.
Period.
Nah, not
Okay.
on.
Not short, not long, not in between.
None of it.
None of it.
So I was
Okay.
like, "Yeah, that is good news." So I was overjoyed that I could say, I can publicly say, this is what I went through. It was unexpected,
Yeah.
but here we are. I mean, now, mind you, I do got another medical issue that came up, and that came out of the blue. I'm like, Lord, what is going on? But God had already showed and told me some things months ago and years ago that, yes, you're going to experience this, but the outcome is going to be totally different.
That's good
So I
news.
don't want to take away from that what you were just saying. So let's go back, and I want to dig a little deeper. So I understand you talked about grieving, and yes, grieving is a process, and sometimes
It
you can
is
spend a lifetime to grieve,
a
because one
lifetime.
moment you will be up here being joyful, remembering the good times, the
Yeah.
laughter, everything that you did with your, even your sister, your
Yeah.
mom, whoever it may be. But in your case, your sister. um and then you have those moments where you just thought, like, dang, man, she should be here.
Yeah. Yeah.
If she was here, this is what we would be doing.
Right.
Because I can guarantee you, when you all got to Thanksgiving and Christmas last year, you started reflecting on 2023.
Oh yeah.
Jessica was here
Yeah.
in 2023, and we were
Yep.
doing this in 2023. But now here we are, our
Yep.
first Christmas, Thanksgiving,
Yep.
then now this year,
Mhm.
Mother's Day.
Yep.
And I know that hit not just your mom,
Yeah.
but your nieces and your
Yeah.
nephew.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
like, dang, mama not here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we
My
just had it.
niece. Yes, my niece had just probably a couple of days ago. The 16-year-old, and she listened to a song, she was dancing, listened to a song, and then grief just struck her like that. It just comes out of anywhere, when you're
Mm-hmm.
grieving. And she like, this song remind me of my mom. I would be dancing and she'd get mad because I'm in the way of the TV, or she was just reflecting on the song and how that song brought back memories to her,
Mm-hmm.
of with her mom. So it just strikes, and you can be doing washing dishes and it just
And
comes
just
over
come
you.
out.
Yeah.
So with that being said, looking back, did you have any inklings or warning signs before? Like, I know when you started talking and you give an example, you said you didn't know, because I mean maybe she didn't even know, but was there any kind of like indicators that would, like, now that everything has transpired and you look back, okay, maybe it's like, did you see any sign to say, hey, well, Jess, you couldn't go to the doctor, or not to say that there's do no guilt, we don't want to
Right.
do
No,
that,
no, no, no. Oh no.
we don't want to do that,
No,
but just, because me sometimes I reflect back, like, was it something else we could have did better, or went somewhere else and got another opinion or something like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I did months ago, months before it happened. Um, I have the gift of dreams and visions.
Mm-hmm.
I have spiritual gifts, and I saw in a dream, um, Northside Hospital. I was in the lobby. I never been in Northside Hospital's lobby.
Mm-hmm.
Never. The entrance, main entrance. And I dreamt, it was probably maybe like 4 months ago before that I was in the lobby. And also, um, I was like, just looking around, in my dream, like, I know that I was in a hospital, but I didn't know what hospital I was in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dreaming or whatever. And then the next, how you go to one scene in your dream, and then you go to the next scene. So the next scene was in the cafeteria of the hospital. And it was me, my sister-in-law, and then my brother was in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, um, fast forwarding into the physical, the manifestation of that dream, it was the same scene. And then in the cafeteria, it was the same people that was in the dream with me, my brother, and my sister-in-law. I didn't have any idea. I didn't have any idea why I was there, who I
Mm-hmm.
was there to see. I didn't know any of that. So God gave me signs. He was preparing me, but I didn't have any clue, any idea about who it was or what it was about. So
Mm-hmm.
I saw it, but I had no clue.
You couldn't
I had
put
no clue.
it's like a God would give you signs, like
Yes.
you're a dreamer, he does. With me, it's like audible.
Mhm.
Sometimes
Mhm.
I can be walking down the stairs, and before I get down to that last step, Holy Spirit said,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, okay.
Mhm.
Now with my mom, when before she transitioned, she died in 2003.
Mhm. Mhm.
I got this, I ain't gonna say epiphany, but he spoke to me like in 2021.
Mhm.
And my son was deployed at the time, and he was supposed to be just gone for no more than a year. But it ended up being he was gone for 3 years.
Mhm.
His deployment lasted longer than expected.
Mhm.
But at the time, when things happen at the time they happen, you don't quite understand why they happen the way they happen.
Mhm. Yep.
But later on, as time progressed, God told me, he said, when your son comes back to the States,
Mhm. Mhm.
your mother's going to transition.
Mm.
So he had prepared me like 2 years in advance
Wow.
of this. And during that
Mm.
whole 2 year period, and it was really three, but the 2 years that we actually took care of her because she was ill, and she said one thing: if I ever get sick, I don't want to be in a nursing home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we took it upon ourselves as a family
Mm.
and I'm like, what more? She gave birth to us. She took care of us. Why would we upset our own lives to do for her? And I
Right.
know I did it because I know what she did for me. She helped
Mhm.
raise my children. She was there when I lost, miscarried and lost my third child. She was there for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it, even though she was my mama, she was my ride or die.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We were two peas in the pod. Now
Yeah.
sometimes our heads clash, but that was my girl.
Yeah. Yeah. Straight up.
I
Yeah.
mean, we could be in a room and see things, and we wouldn't even speak a word. We just do them eyes,
Mhm.
and we knew
Mhm.
what them eyes mean. Be like, and then later on, like, did you catch that? I'm like, yeah, I caught it. Did you catch that? It's just like we had that
Yeah.
bond.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Definitely.
when my son came back, um, And I had a feeling. I said, I felt like this is it. Because June of 2023, my son finally made it back to the States. I was still taking care of my mom. And we were all coming together as a family to celebrate, his return to the States. So everybody was coming to our hometown, and we were planning everything. But during that week of waiting for them to come where we were, my mom got sick. I took her to like her normal appointment, and because she had wound care, because she was diabetic, so wounds don't heal quite well or quick. Right. So we went to the appointment, and the doctor was looking. She said, "Take your mom immediately." No, I'm sorry, back that up. That wasn't that appointment. She was on dialysis, and early that morning, transport was coming to pick her up, and her oxygen level, your oxygen level is supposed to be over, at least over, to be viable as a human being, it got to be at least 90. My mom had hit down to 45.
What? Wow.
So literally, she was on death's bed at the house. And her nurse came to, check everything. And she said, I don't like this. This is not good. So we had to try to get her oxygen up, because she had to be on oxygen. So we had to increase the level of oxygen from 2 liters or 2 pints or something like that to up to 4, just to get her where she could breathe, because she was like this. Wow. And they kept saying, "All right, Miss Mildred, come on." And she kept saying, and not knowing, she was literally taking her last breaths right then. Wow. But they were able to get it up. And so I had to call the people at the dialysis and tell them, she may not make it to there today because we can't get her oxygen up. And when I told them that, it was like, "Well, please don't bring her." And I'm like, okay, how rude.
Right.
But not knowing, if you're on a dialysis and then the oxygen, that is taxing on the body.
Yeah.
But long story, they got her oxygen up. She was doing good. And I called the people back and I said, if she's not doing well, just call me immediately and I'll come and get her. They take her off. She wasn't gone from the house no more than 5 or 8 minutes. So I was like, okay, I got a chance I could go take me a nice shower, and I got a rush.
Yeah.
Nah. Soon as I got out, laid my clothes out, I got a call and said, "Excuse me, is this Bessie?" And I'm like, "Yes." And it was like, "You need to come get your mom." And I'm like, "She just left the house." And I said, "I'll be there in a minute." I said, "I got to." Yeah, so I that was the quickest shower I ever took in my life. When they say just put your toes in the water. I jumped in. It was like I said, "Woo!" And got out, put my clothes on, threw a hat on, and I was out. So when I got there, she was like limp like this, almost like a limp noodle. And I said, "Mom," and she looked at me. I said, "I got you, Mom. I got you." So we rushed over to the hospital. And luckily, the hospital was like 3 minutes away from the dialysis place. So that was right up the street. Got in there, and I told the people, they was like, I'm like, luckily the dialysis place called the hospital and emergency room and let them know we were on our way. Yeah. Because they saw her. I was like, this is triage. She can't breathe.
Yeah.
They got her up, and that was on a Tuesday. Wow. She stayed the whole time, and she kept saying, "Don't leave me. Don't leave me." Oh, and I was like, "Mom, I gotta go home. I got just to lay down in a comfortable bed, because a hospital, and it ain't nowhere to come out resting."
Okay.
And I'm like cold, and people in there, even though you got masks on, sneezing and snot, I was just like, and my OCD was just like, I was like, I said, "I promise you, I'll be back." So I called my sister. I was like, "Y'all got to get to Daytona." Yeah. And I really didn't want to say, but y'all got to get here ASAP.
Right.
More, earlier than expecting. It was like, "All right, sis, we're on our way."
Yeah.
And my brother was alive at that time, so we tried to switch off at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And at one time, my mom, he was like up and down, up and down. But one particular time, they kept saying, I was at home because I was working from her house.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, they called and said, your mother wants you up here right now. I said, I'm on my way. I had to do some work. So I got there and it was like, she won't eat. And I'm like, Mom, you got to eat.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I went to feed her, and then she ate a little bit. And I can't cuss on here, we're gonna keep it godly. But if I could say what she said to me, she said, "What? I don't want no more." And I'm like, "Mom, you gotta eat."
That's all. That's all.
I was like, "You gotta eat." And she said, "I'm gonna just say that, and you gonna know what I'm saying." GD. I don't want no more. I said, okay, you ain't got to eat no more. So if you know what GD mean, you can use your imagination. You know what them words meant. So I said, okay, we ain't gonna go that way. I ain't gonna feed you no more.
Right.
But it was just during those moments, and it's like me not knowing, being her last caregiver,
Mm-hmm.
and like you said, her watchman.
Yeah.
That was the end of her life in that room.
Yeah.
And because it ended up that she was on this machine, and it's like you can only, as a human, you can only be on that machine no more than 3 to 4 days.
Exactly.
After that, you can't be on anymore because the human body can't take it.
Right.
And I don't want to seem like I'm taking over the conversation, because I'm just sharing you how we share us. And I'm sure most people who are listening is, if they experienced the loss of a loved one and it came at an unexpected time. Now, although we knew, you know your parents gonna leave.
Yes.
You just don't know when. But I knew, because God told me, when your son comes, your mother's going to transition. So I was lucky that those last few days of her life, I was there to be with her. Because that Friday, prior to her transitioning, God said, call all your siblings and put them on FaceTime. I called each one. And that I did that because mentally she was there.
Right. Yeah.
So I called each one, and she said, talk to them, called them by their name, said, I love you, not knowing that would be the last time telling I love you face to face. That she actually recognized who they were.
Yeah.
Because less than 24 hours, that was Friday. By Saturday, when I got to the hospital, she didn't even recognize me.
Wow.
Just in 24 hours.
Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 2. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.